Nothing.
Test. There we go. Now we're loud.
Is that better, Scott?
Okay. We'll do that again. Item number 1 on the agenda is approval of minutes. We have one set of meeting minutes from the March 16th, 2022 meeting. If we have any corrections or changes.
You made that one. Okay. I don't have anything additional.
Okay.
Nor do I. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the March 16th minutes.
We have a motion to approve. All in favor?
I'll second that.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Item number 2 on the meeting is open sealed bids for vehicles for the Sheriff's Department. Jeff, do you want to explain this just a little bit, what you're looking for and why Seth prepares to open these?
Sure, we're looking to replace one of our SUVs from the Sheriff's Office that's getting close to, I think it's around 180,000 miles on it. It's got a lot of miles, starting to show its wear, and we're hoping to find a gem like we found last year, something that we can do for under 60,000. These days that's hard, so we'll see what's out there. But I do want people to know that our fleet is getting older, but it's well maintained and in good shape, and the cars are holding together great. So we're good. Just be good to get this one replaced if we could.
Perfect. Thank you. Seth, we'll turn the time over to you.
Looks like there's 3 bids here. This one's from United Fleet Services. A lot of information about the company and lease plans. This one specifically looks like it's just for a lease plan. I don't see a specific vehicle that they're selling, but it says there's a 1-year standard lease rates, $5,000 annually for a Chevy 1500, $6,500 annually for a Nissan Rogue Sport, and $7,500 for a Ford Explorer ST.
Okay.
Forgot my pocket knife. This is from Jan Auto, 2019 Chevrolet Silverado 1500, 11,000 miles, $46,995. It's only one on that one. This is from Auto Farm, 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, 12,000 miles for $44,787. There's also a 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo with 100 miles on it for $48,285. There's a 2020 Ram 1500 Laramie, 8,100 miles on it for $50,979. And finally, a 2020 Ram 1500 Laramie, 18,000 miles on it for $53,499.
So I think I can look at those vehicles and see a little leery about the Jeeps, only because the gear that outfits for them, if it's not a common vehicle, might be more money for that. So I need to look at that stuff. The Jeeps are the ones that are closer to the price range. And I personally, and Casey and I have talked about this a little bit, I'm not comfortable with a lease, because I don't know how that would work in the future. And we have so many vehicles. If the lease went bad, how would you get all your vehicles back? You know, so that's something to think about as well. We can talk about that further, but I'd like to just review that and see where we're at.
Okay.
I don't have any questions. I'd make a motion to acknowledge the bids from the United Fleet Services, JN Auto, and also Auto Farm, and have the sheriff and Commissioner Hopes review those and award one.
Okay.
I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved. Item number 3, consideration and possible approval of Nickolas Parker to act as project manager for motocross track improvement project. Commissioner Martinez, do you want to explain this a little bit?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. It's been kind of a long time coming, but it's actually happened pretty quick. And what I'm referring to is the motocross track out at the fairgrounds. I remember that track being one of the main tracks in the state. It had high visibility. A lot of people wanted to come and visit that facility. But with the times changing, the dollars getting tighter, the track was not maintained as well as it used to be, and folks stopped coming here. We've had a person of interest that wanted to step out and really step up to the plate and do something different. And I think we can talk probably a little bit more about that when he comes up. But basically what we've done is with Nick as the driving force on this, and a group of citizens that want to see that motocross track return to what it was. I want to commend Nick and this group that he's a part of, Carbon Emery MX, for doing it the right way. You know, to me, it's really lazy to get out there on social media and complain amongst yourselves about the conditions in an area, whether it be the county, whether it be a motocross track in this instance. But the right thing to do is to say, let's get together, let's figure this out, let's make it work. And that's exactly what Nick Parker and his group has done. And to be honest, Nick was part of the group that was giving me grief about the motocross track.
Very much so.
And but he was concerned. He wanted to see it improve. And he's done it the right way. His group has done it the right way. They've been very adamant of what they want to see. And it aligns with what we're trying to do with Glenna and her staff out at the motocross track. We want to see improvements. We want to see things out there. So if you want to kind of address a couple things, Nick? Or?
Yeah. It's like Commissioner Martinez said, I was one of the problem children, or was turning into one. I was sending constant emails, like, why are we not doing anything with this? And then after talking to some guys that have been around for a while, like Mr. Wheeler, I learned that there's options out there that we just have to chase them. So rather than continue to send emails, I started using that time to explore the options, and learned that there's a grant that would very easily cover what we're trying to take care of out there. That's Mr. Wheeler's here. We'll have him come up as well if you're okay with it. You okay to come up? Yep. So he sits on a board with the state of Utah OHV FIG program, and they have money for everything we were trying to accomplish. So after learning about that, we met with Commissioner Martinez, and because we wasn't sure what the county wanted to see, so we needed to nail that down first. And he kind of told us, well, we'd like to see, one of the big problems is we have 400 people bombarding us, and some want this and some don't want that, so where do we go? Whose word do we take? So what we would like to see is a board So we created a board with Carbon Emery MX. There's 5 of us that sit on that board. There's myself, John Powell, Shane Waybright, Chance Thompson, and Laramie Payne. And wrote the grant and was awarded $162,500 with a in-kind match from the county, which is awesome because it doesn't require a cash match. We can use things that are already there, such as equipment, water systems, to obtain that match.
And volunteer help.
And lots of volunteer help.
Can I stop you on that point?
Yes.
Because that's one of the keys to making this successful, is people can complain about stuff, but they want everybody else to do it.
Yep.
You have the volunteer help, and by that first meeting, we had, what, 30, 40 people in that room?
We had 36. Yeah.
So there is an interest, and these people want to help and want to see things done. And that's how we do things in this community, is we don't sit and complain about it. We get our hands dirty and we get things done.
Right. One of the big things as we formed the committee was we can't dwell on anything that's happened in the past, because this is a whole new approach. So that was kind of our motto going forward, is if it's in the past, that's where it's going to stay. We're not going to bring it up. And having that, we created a Facebook page. Within, I think, day 27, we had just over 1,500 followers. And still today, I think I woke up this morning to 26 messages wanting to know where we're at, how's it coming, and people wanting to help. So I'm going to let Scott, he has a lot more information on the grant and how it all works. So if you don't mind explaining that.
You might want to finish this number 3 first, and then we'll talk about number 4 maybe perhaps. And I would just have some questions how this would work with Nick being in, kind of a consultant out there. It sounds to me like they're going to be using, and that he would come up with the ideas of how the track should be modified and what things we should do, and then he would consult with you or whoever at the fairgrounds to start that whatever project they want to start. We've you know, they applied for grant money for certain things out there, and so I think there needs to be some type of a, you know, collaboration between the groups or the entities at the fairgrounds, Nick and, you know, yourself as being over the fairgrounds. And so I'm assuming that's how this will work. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's basically what this whole thing is right now that we're talking about, is basically an understanding that Nick would be a project manager over the facility, over the grant and application of it, kind of working in tandem with Glenna and myself as far as what items need to be done, how the money is spent, all the recording and documentation that the state requires us to do as well. Nick would be kind of responsible for being kind of the secretary, making sure of all that paperwork is taken care of and turned into the state. We're not giving him free rein, though. He doesn't, you know, he doesn't get to tear up the track and do what he wants. It's all in consultation with Glenna and myself and her staff.
We just don't want you out on there on the bulldozer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll put Casey and Larry out there. They have more experience with that.
I'm okay with these 2 guys out there, maybe.
Yeah.
And I guess a good point to hit on that is with this grant, it's securing funds so that the county doesn't have to come up with funds to have somebody maintaining the track. We've built into the grant money to have an outside company come in and do that weekly maintenance, guaranteed twice a week. Track will be rideable every week from April to October. And it also covers security gates, fencing, a new water system, or repair the water system that's there once we figure out what we've got. Track repair and weekly maintenance, a new ticket booth, and then money for marketing what we're doing and getting the word out to people that it's open and let's ride it, let's utilize it.
And I think through Kenny Kirkwood and his race, we've seen there is an interest here. I think it was the highest turnout that he's ever had. Was it 560 riders one day? 583 riders in one day. It's amazing. We have 2 promoters that are looking to put races on here as well, besides Carbon Emery MX.
Yep.
There's interest in this, and it's really, again, it's it's gotten to the right place in the right direction, so I appreciate your guys' help with that. So,
You want to go over anything on the grant?
well,
You need to approve, you need to work on this number 3 first, and
Yeah,
then we can talk about number 4 perhaps.
yes. Is that, any other questions?
I have none.
I don't have any questions. We have a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve Nickolas Parker to act as the project manager for the motocross track improvement project.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is
Congratulations.
Thanks.
approved.
Thank you, guys.
Item number 4 on the agenda is consideration and possible approval of Division of Outdoor Recreation Fiscal Initiative Grant, or the FIG grant as it was referred to earlier, award to Carbon County for improvements on the motocross track. We'll turn that time over to you again, Commissioner Martinez.
Okay. Through the interest that was developed by Nick Parker and through the right channels, we got with Mr. Wheeler here, and he kind of guided us to a portion of money that the state had. I think you can probably explain a little bit more of how that whole process worked and the amount of money that was asked and the actual money that was received. Maybe if you want to explain that, Scott?
Sure. I'm a member of the Ohv Advisory Council for the state of Utah. I represent off-road motorcycle interest. This council has contained on it 12 members that represent off-road motorcycles, ATVs, full-size Jeeps, the BLM, the Forest Service, the state institutional trust lands. They have a couple at-large members. They have a youth member. They have a member of safety. And how this money comes about is they take a portion of the OHV registration and put it in a restricted account and use that money to improve OHV opportunities. And each year, this FIG grant, Fiscal Incentive Grant, has about between $5 and $7 million in it. And on a quarterly basis, we have about between 40 and 50 grants that we review. Carbon County applied the last cycle and received a grant for $162,500 to improve the motocross track out here. Now, we're just an advisory council, and we have these grants put before us, and we recommend either you fund them, the state fund them, or not fund them. And after we do that part, it goes to what's called the Outdoor Adventure Commission, and they're the ones that actually sign the check to get the money. So we generally, when we give our recommendations to approve this grant, they just ditto it when it goes there. Once in a while, they'll throw it out for one reason or other, but they approved the grant. And there is another grant that we work with on a yearly basis, which is an RTP grant, which takes a little bit different type of, it comes from gas tax. They take a portion of the gas tax and put it into a fund, and that's a little over about $1.25 million a year that we distribute out also. It has different criteria, how you can use it and how much matching money. Now with the FIG grant, you only have to have 25% matching money, and that can be in kind, meaning it can be used as volunteer help, and some of it could be, for example, the use of the bulldozer out there. That's not actually in kind. That's actually a value that's getting used there that can be written off as a cash value. The water systems, the cost of the water shares, collaboration when we came in and talked to you. That time can all be added in for this matching 25% for this $162,000. So and also that money is going to be used to maintain the track through the year. And you're welcome to apply again next year for more money to maintain the track and to do more improvements. We probably should have applied for more money. when we did this grant. But
I was a little skeptical initially asked for 112,000. There was rules that I understand now are kind of last year's rules that say try to keep it as close to 100,000 as you can. So when we went up to the meeting with his board, they actually ended up awarding us an extra 50,000 that I hadn't originally asked for. So my initial request was for 112,560, and we ended up getting 162,560. So
the limit on the grant is $325,000, okay? There are counties that have received last year probably in excess of $500,000 in grant money to improve trail opportunities for search and rescue, for promotional type of things. And so this money there has been, I usually tell people it's actually some easy money to get. It doesn't take a lot of requirements other than to fulfill a need. And the track out here had a need, and it got overwhelming support. In fact, one of the members says, "Why didn't you ask for more money?" That's what he said. And so next year we'll be looking for some more money to, do some maintenance on it. So I do not represent the Division of Parks and Recreation, but I do have a check over here I'd like to give to them. The county, if I can.
That would be wonderful. Is it?
It's a check.
Very cool.
Okay. So there you go, Nick. The only thing that the state will require of the county is you keep that track open and let people use it. Okay, that's about the only thing they require. So.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem. We do have a question here.
Yes, my name is David.
If you come up to the podium. If that's okay, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
My name's David Yellen. It's good to get the money. Do you know by chance how much money two-wheel off-road vehicles pay into the state fund?
Way more than this. Altogether, like it says, between ATVs, UTVs, rock crawlers, and motorcycles, the fund is between, I would say, $5 to $7 million goes into this fund. It depends on, and it's increasing because the number of off-road vehicles is increasing. I believe right now we're seeing a real big surge in UTVs, but I don't have that number. But
It wasn't a question of challenge as much as attempting to recoup the money that the riders pay for fees levied by the state. So if it gets put to use locally, then that's a good thing. If there's more of it, and you have more riders coming from out of state, that doesn't generate money locally except through the tourism tax. But the issue of trying to recoup some of the tax monies the registrars pay is a good thing. That's all I wanted to say is, if we knew X went up and some of X is coming back, that means there's more opportunity to say your fair share, or let's utilize what we pay into it. That's all.
correct, and that's essentially what's coming off. But I think there's like 3 different fees that come out of registration. You got county, you got state, and you got taxes when you pay for that. This is state that takes a portion of that and put it in this restricted account to, like it says, to help develop and to encourage the usage of off-road vehicles.
I also thought it would be a feather in your cap if you do that.
Yes.
Thank you.
I hope you accept the money.
We'll think about it, but no, and we have talked initially of what items we wanted to start at, what we wanted to address. You kind of hit that as well, and I think it's a good plan moving forward. As like Mr. Wheeler said, there's more money we'll apply for next year. Hopefully we can get everything done that you want to do on that list, that we want to do as well. If not, we'll go for more money on the next go around. So
I think as it sits now, we've got an agenda to have this spent hopefully mid-June and have the track is the best we've seen it in a long time. So.
And we'll keep trucks from jumping off the sides of the
Yes.
motocross track. and
Yes.
It's a long story too, but
Well, thank you both.
Thank
You guys.
From the county's perspective, this is, it fills a need and something we were unable to pull off. So, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, any other questions before we have a motion?
I have none.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion then that we approve the Division of Outdoor Recreation Fiscal Incentive Grant, the FIG Award to Carbon County for improvements to the motocross track.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
We're
your help.
excited about it.
Can't wait to see you.
We'll move this out of the way.
Item number 5, consideration and possible approval of moving an alternate on the Planning Commission board to a regular board member. Commissioners, I believe we had one board member that moved or took a job and will be unable to fill the remainder of his term. And we have 2 alternates that are here for consideration. The alternates are Jeff Peters and Richard Hackwell. Commissioner Jensen.
So Mike Bryant is the individual on the board that took a job up in Payson, and so no longer qualifies to be a board member. Jeff name slip.
Peters.
Peters has been an alternate for quite a few years, so I would make the motion that we appoint Jeff Peters as the regular board member on the Planning Commission.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved for appointing Jeff Peters to the Planning Commission. Item number 6, consideration of possible approval of Economic Development Services Agreement for 2022-2023 years between the Utah Association of Counties and Carbon County. Commissioner Jensen, did you want to talk about this one?
Sure. This is our annual contract with them that gives us some extra help from Utah Association of Counties in that Stuart Clayson and Patrick Mullen are 2 specialists that help us with economic development, and we found that to be real critical and extremely helpful in our efforts there. And so I feel good about renewing this and spending that extra $60,000.
Yeah, I agree. They've been very helpful, the association as well as the guidance that those 2 have offered and helped us with. So I agree with that. I want to second that.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the Economic Development Services Agreement for 2022-2023 between the Utah Association of Counties and Carbon County.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved. Moving on, item number 7, ratification of an agreement with Hub Marketing for brand development of the Loop or Roundabout. Tina?
I don't know if you needed me to come up.
Sure, since you were already up and
ratification
walking this
before.
way, do you want to explain a little bit about what's going on here?
Yes, so this has to do with our Forever Mighty grant with the Utah Office of Tourism that we were rewarded for 2021. So we were awarded the full amount of $33,500. This is a 2-to-1 matching grant. And so the ratification of the contract with Hub is just an addition to our current contract with them on the first stage, which is creating the brand for the Roundabout, which is a regional approach to tourism partnership between Carbon and Emery County. And so we started that work not realizing that we had to have an extension to our current contract. And so the contract we got a little bit later than than we thought we would. And so in order for the project not to halt and wait for commission, we asked for approval to approve the contract and then come before the commission.
Perfect.
That's what we do, I guess. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
So basically it was approved already, but it's just another extension of it.
And the idea behind this, or that we were going for on this grant, was to be able to market jointly with Emery County all of the assets, the golf courses. There's one in Carbon County, two in Emery County, and they kind of make a loop. Other assets would be some of the historical or cultural sites that also make a loop, and would lend people to spending money throughout the entire area between Carbon and Emery counties. And so we're excited about this. Emery's on board. We're working on this. We had a meeting as of today talking about how to market this, and also looking at the name and maybe testing the waters a little bit with the name to make sure it would fit our area. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
No questions.
I don't.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we ratify the agreement with Ohv Marketing for brand development of the Loop Roundabout.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Item number 8, consideration of possible approval of an oil and gas lease between Carbon County and Encore Land Services. I'm not sure who's
Maybe I can
over
take
this
that one.
Okay.
Urban Oil and Gas is wanting to drill some additional wells east of Price, north of the Old Wellington Road. And the county owns some minerals in the area, and they would like to lease the minerals from this 2 acres, 2.05 acres that we own. We leased a similar piece of our royalty to them last year on the property where the housing authority sits. And they've drilled that well, and so that's in production now. The county should begin to receive some royalty money from that, and this is just an additional parcel that we own the lease or the minerals on. So I would be in favor of signing this lease agreement to allow that new well to be drilled.
Yeah, it's actually nice to hear the word new well being drilled in our area, so it's been a long time. I agree with that, and if there's no other question, I'll go ahead and make a motion then that we approve of the oil and gas lease between Carbon County and Encore Land Services.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved. Item number 9 on the agenda is consideration of possible approval of the Priority Community Impact Fund list, or the CIB list. Commissioners, I don't think the prioritization has happened, but I think we could read into record all of the applications that the cities and any other entities are applying for, and then the prioritization isn't as important as making sure that they're on the list. If they're not on the list, the CIB will not entertain them in that fiscal year. But if they're on the list, it doesn't matter at what priority. If you have your funding, most likely they'll entertain it. So these are in no specific order. Replacement well for Schofield Town, Ridge Road sewer improvements, that's Carbon County, water treatment plant upgrades, that's Price City, airport hangar, Carbon County, new sewer line installation, Airport Road to Liberty Estates, that's Price City, water meter system replacement, Helper City, spring metering station, Schofield Town, water and sewer improvements, Wellington City, industrial area utility improvements, Wellington City, Ridge Road Improvement Project. This is the Carbon County Municipal Building Authority. Water treatment, water transmission line study, Price City. Meter replacement installation, Schofield Town. Cemetery expansion, Helper City. Cemetery improvements, Wellington City. Swimming pool renovations and improvements, Price City. I believe that covers all of them. Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like all of them.
And the list wasn't anything that we came up, us three. It was with consultation with the mayors and their requests.
Yes, each entity has the opportunity to put on their projects and go for funding. Some of these are already underway and will probably drop off at the end of the year without even going to the CIB because they've found other forms of funding. But all of these are high priorities for either the cities or other taxing entities in the county. Any other statements or questions?
No questions. I'll make the motion that we approve the priority list for the community impact funding CIB list.
We have a motion
And I'll second that.
and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved. We just need one more motion.
Move to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you for attending.